Welcome to the casual side of baseball YouTube. My name is Kenny, and I just experienced my first trade deadline in a very long time, and boy, I am excited to talk about it. So many people have hit me up over the last couple days like, Kenny, this is the perfect year to become a fan because we don't normally get trade deadlines like this. I remember a few weeks ago, I tweeted asking the question, how are MLB trade deadlines? And people were like, they alright, you get a couple big names here and there. This year was the best of all time, I guess. Here's a tweet from BR Walkoff. Gallo, Marte, Bryan, Rizzo, Schwarber, Scherzer, Turner, Cruz, Baez, Berrios, Duffy, Escobar, Graveman, Frazier, Kimball, and Soler are some of the biggest names traded, and these are some of the biggest names in the game. All traded within like yesterday and today. Now, again, what did the intro say? Casual side of MLB YouTube. So I'm not here to grade trades and say, oh, this team got finesse. Listen, I struggle with keeping up with the names of the major leaguers. You think I know about farm systems? So they're like, oh man, they got the 7th best prospect in this system. They should have got the 9th because the 9th is... That's not me, dog. That's not me. But I more than anything, I just want to talk about my experience of my first year being an MLB fan in a long time and experiencing this trade deadline because it was super fun. What makes it different than the NBA trade deadline is that the NBA is like my real job, right? So I have to have notifications on for Woj, I have to have notifications on for Shams, and whenever something happens, I have to be there immediately. I have to tweet about it, I have to come in his room and make a video about it. But with the MLB, since I am more of a casual and it's not my job to keep up with these things, it was way more relax. I went to the National Card Convention. We're going to talk about that in a second. And I'm getting notifications on my phone. Oh, this player got traded. This player got traded. And it was way more laid back than an NBA trade deadline where I have to be at my computer hitting refresh. It was just a little change of pace. And I'm not complaining about my NBA job because I still love doing that. But it was just different, and different is good. So like I said, I'm at the National Card Convention here in Chicago. I was there for yesterday, here for today, and I won't be there for this weekend, unfortunately. And I bought a lot. Listen, I bought a lot of different stuff, and some of this stuff you might see in the video recently. Today, this morning, I bought a Nick Madrigal card. Bowman Chrome, 124 out of 150, signature card. And what happens on my drive home? He gets traded to the Cubs. He gets traded to the Cubs. I'm like, oh, dog. And I like Nick Madrigal because I guess there's not a ton of like contact heavy guys in the league, but I understand why the White Sox make this trade. One thing that I really do love about this, there's so many teams that still believe they're in it and still want to make that big run for the World Series. So we saw so many buyers. And with Nick Madrigal being injured, it made sense to trade him away to get back Craig Kimball, who had been amazing for, I think they said 8-time All-Star, including this year's an All-Star game. So it just sucks that he's going to be across town. But listen, he'll still be in town. I'll go to Wrigleyville to watch my boy Nick Madrigal play. I grow a little attachment to him in the half season that I watched him play. Especially since he's a short king and he's a contact hitter. Those type of things I like. So I can't tell you if the Cubs got a good return for Craig Kimball, but it feels like they did because I had an emotional attachment to Nick Madrigal. I also bought this Shohei Ohtani pink rookie rated card for a lot of money. Biggest purchase I've had today, but that's for another video. What makes this better than the NBA trade deadline, at least this one specifically, and I don't want to be comparing the two because I know they're different sports and all, but I'm just going to do it because it's my nature, because I know so much about basketball, right? Is that when it comes to a trade deadline for the NBA, typically there's like 2 teams, 3 teams, maybe super buyers, where this year we saw so many teams make extravagant, really big trades because they believe that this could be their year. And I'm excited for the playoffs, man. I'm definitely excited for the playoffs because this is different than the basketball again, where like all it takes is for a team to get hot and they can go from a wild card team to the World Series, right? So a small trade that might have been smaller in this year might turn up to a bigger trade. Let's talk about some of these bigger ones. First of all, Cubs fans, I feel for you. I understand the attack. My girlfriend is a Cubs fan, and she ain't. Come on, let's be honest. If I'm a casual baseball fan, she's 2 steps below that. But she knows Javi Baez. She knows Chris Bryant. She was definitely super into it when they won the World Series. So when I was telling her at the card show, like, oh, they just traded Javi. Oh, they just traded Kimball, and like that, you know, I understand her attachment to these players. But the full reset, bro. Listen, the Cubs and the Nationals play in like 2 hours, bro. Who's suiting up for these teams tonight? Because the Nationals went super sellers, the Cubs went super sellers. I can't wait to see what the lineups look like. What is going to be Jason Hayward and Wilson Contreras versus Juan Soto? But so much happened. I got a list of the bigger trades right in front of me. So I'm just gonna go over the ones that were super interesting. Chris Bryant going to the Giants. I think this had been rumored for a few days now, and it finally happened. I think what made this funny is that on Twitter, people thought that they were gonna get Joey Bart. Joey Bart's like one of the top prospects. Again, I don't know anything about farm systems, so that's not a new name for me because MLB The Show, but I don't know the value of some of the top prospects. But I saw a lot of Cubs fans on the timeline like, listen, getting back Joey Bart is a good return for a couple months of Chris Bryant. It didn't happen to be Joey Bart, but I did hear some more Cubs fans like, hey, it's fine. We're okay with this. I don't know if the Cubs did bad, man. Only person I really know in there is Nick Madrigal. But from everything I've seen, it seems like them getting super sellers, their return can put them back into a solid MLB team in 4 to 5 years or however long it takes to rebuild a baseball organization. I had to convince my girlfriend that it was right to make these trades. Because you did the ultimate thing, right? The reason you play any sport is to raise that trophy at the end of it. And the Cubs did that. They broke a 100-year streak and they did that. So a couple years later, it's all worth it because you got it. You know what I'm saying? As much as you love Chris Bryant, you can still be a fan of the Cubs and cheer for Chris Bryant on the Giants, especially now because your team is going to be ass. You're in a rebuild phase. Listen, the last couple of years as a basketball fan has been really weird because the Bulls have sucked. So I've had an opportunity to root for teams and players on these rival teams because I know my team don't really matter right now. So you can root for the Cubs, but still watch Chris Bryant go to one of the contending teams and be like, man, I want to see CB get a championship. I want to see Francisco Lindor and Javi Baez in the middle infield turning double plays like no other. You can still be a fan of those players on different organizations, but I understand not wanting to see them leave your team. Quick Homer talk. Let's talk about the White Sox for a couple more seconds. I think what we did, the trade deadline, as a casual fan, looks pretty solid to me. I didn't know anything about Cesar Hernandez. I think that's his name, before the trade, but people told me that he was normally a contact gold glove guy, but now he got a little pop in his bat. Even though his average is down, his pop is there. Typical leadoff guy. I like that. I like to see that, especially since we already had the Nick Madrigal injury, and now we traded him away. I don't know what second base looks like for us next season or the year after that, but I'm excited for that. And then the back end of our bullpen is as elite as ever. We already had Liam Hendricks, even though he gave up a game against the Royals a couple nights ago. And now we get Craig Kimbrell and Ryan Tepera? You know who I want to say. And we already have Michael Kopech, who I bought heavy on. I bought a couple signed Michael Kopechs. I really like Michael Kopech, man. The man seems unhittable. And at a setup guy, he was killing the game. So I don't know what they do with the bullpen, but I just know we got a lot of arms in there that can really throw. Like, come on. The Blue Jays are 51-48, and they bought at the deadline because they believe that they're a good enough team to make the playoffs and make a run. And they bought pretty good, man. Jose Barrios is one of the better arms that was available this year. And they already had Robbie Ray and Ryu pitching really well. And now they add Jose Barrios. So they might be destined for a run to the wild card or whatever. There's a lot of baseball left. Sellers. Talked about the Cubs a little bit. The Nationals, man. One of my favorite teams to watch this season was the Nationals because I really do like Trey Turner. We're going to talk about the Trey Turner deal because that was the real catalyst of this whole video, by the way. Really like watching Trey Turner. And when I was watching him, that was the middle of Kyle Schwarber having the hottest month in a long time. And I knew that Juan Soto was great, but at that time he wasn't hitting very well, and now he is. But they went super sellers, man. It seems like it's just Juan Soto by himself. The Boston Red Sox get Kyle Schwarber. And they said they might play him at first base. Is a tweet I saw earlier. I don't know. I know Kyle Schwarber can play behind the plate. I know he can play in the outfield because that's what his MLB The Show card could do. Seeing him at first base might be take some time to get used to. But, man, when he comes back from his injury, if he is even close to what he performed in that 1 month, that's a W. Let's talk about the Dodgers. Because, oh, my God. What a deadline for them. Picking up Matt Scherzer and Trey Turner. Like I said, Trey Turner's been one of my favorite guys to watch this season. And now he's going to the Dodgers. The Yankees also bought heavily. The rich continue to get richer. That's the saying, right? I mean, Seager's coming back. Mookie will come back. Kershaw will come back. Who is somebody else in their rotation that's coming back? That's elite level. Is it Walker Buehler? Has he been injured? The Dodgers just traded for two of the best players in the league, and some of their other best players ain't even been playing recently. Not to mention, Cody Bellinger's been really bad this season, but how long is that going to last? I don't really know. You tell me. But it just seems like an all-star team right now. I mean, congratulations to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not faulting them for it. But I'm like, bro, I would have liked to see Trey Turner go almost anywhere else. I didn't want to see him go to the Dodgers, and I didn't want to see him go to the Yankees. And he ended up on the Dodgers. It's just something about the super big market teams that's like, not that I don't like them, but I just want to see the smaller markets or the less known, less popular teams win at the end of the day, right? And the Dodgers and the Yankees might be the most popular teams in all of baseball because you got LA and you got New York. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the Dodgers, man. I mean, that's going to be elite to see Trey Turner there. Scherzer still pitching his butt off at like 40 years old. I can't wait to see the new farm system rankings after all these trades because the Nationals got back a ton of good prospects. Josiah Gray is a guy I know because of MLB The Show. He's got a 94 overall pitching card. And it seems like a lot of the top prospects got traded. So I want to see tomorrow morning who has the best farm system in the league now. Is it the Nationals? Is it the Cubs? Because they traded some big names, man. They better be at least both top 5, right? Right? I don't know. So the Yankees got Rizzo and they got Joey Gallo. I already saw Joey Gallo and he ain't got his beard no more. And I made a tweet about this, and you know, you can't just make tweets because everything becomes controversial. I don't like the rule by the Yankees about the facial hair, the long facial hair, whatever. It is what it is. It's not like I'm boycotting the Yankees because of it, but it's just like, I would be so upset. Like, I mean, if I played for the Yankees, it's fine because I can't grow facial hair anyway. But if I was one of the people that like to keep a nice bushy beard and I got traded to the Yankees mid-season, I low-key be upset. People put a lot of time in their facial hairs. A lot of time. And the Yankees like, nah, cut it. It will be worth it if you win a World Series, but we're going to have to wait and see if these moves were it. I know a lot of people were like, man, the Yankees need to go and get some guys that can make some contact. And then they went to get some guys that was all about power. So we'll see how that works out. Starling Marte got traded to the Athletics. And I think the surprising thing was Jesus Luzardo was in that trade. And Jesus Luzardo is one of the top pitching prospects. He has struggled at AAA and he has struggled in a little time in the MLB. But I understand why the Marlins make this deal, obviously, because they, from what I've read, they have a good reputation with developing arms. And if he's already one of the top guys, even though he's been struggling, maybe that change of scenery and the Miami staff can really get this guy going. Miami, I like what they got, man. I like their future. I like a good up-and-coming team, and the Miami Marlins might be that. And like I said, man, I can't talk about every single trade because even as I'm recording this, more trades are officially being announced. But that is the casual man's perspective of the MLB trade deadline. At the end of it all, super, super fun. Cannot wait to see these new faces, or these old faces in new places. And I can't wait for this Cubs-Nationals game in a few hours. Like, legitimately, who is playing in that game? I have no idea.